Welcome back. Now what we need to do is that we need to get orders. So as soon as user places an order, we need to display the order here. And if the order has been filled, we also need to display history of all orders that the user has made. So we can display the order and the date, and we can also display the status of the order, whether the order was delivered or paid or not paid. All of these things must be displayed in the user account. So let's work on this area. So this area exists in the, remember, in the order, in the account.php, in the orders, under this orders section. So under this orders section, we don't have a form or anything because there will be no form. Instead there will be a script. I'm going to create a script that's going to get all of the orders. So to do this, here in this account, at the beginning here, let me close this so that our code becomes a little shorter. Here, so we have all of this code. Let me close all of these, and here I'm going to add a comment, and then I'm going to say get orders. So to get the orders, first we need to say if, and then we need to get all of the orders. And to get all of the orders, we need to make sure that the user is logged in. So I'm going to say if session is set, if user is logged in, then what we need to do, logged in, what we need to do is that we need to get all of the orders. And to get all of the orders, we can use here a code that we already have, which if you open the server and then get orders or get codes, for example, you can copy this code and then paste it here inside this if statement. But we need to import the server, so we already imported the connection, server connection. So here, instead of saying prepare select all from products, we need to say select all from orders, where user ID, user underscore ID. Let me show you that in the database. In the order, we can get the order by knowing the user ID. So we need to know the user ID so that we get only orders that belong to that specific user. So here I'm going to say where user ID is equal to, and then question mark. That's it. And then what I'm going to do is that I'm going to say stmt bind param, and then we need to bind the user ID. So to get the user ID, we need here to say session user underscore ID, session user ID, user underscore ID. And here we need to pass the user ID, and here execute, and then get results, and then get, here I'm going to say orders. This is going to be orders. So orders is going to be equal to statement get result. Very, very simple. And then we need to loop over all of the orders. So the orders will contain the order ID, the order cost, the order status, which is very important, the user phone number, the city, the user address. These things are not important. These things are for us, because we as the owners of the website, we need to, or the business, the owners of the business, we need to know the user address and the user city and the user phone number in order to contact the user. But for the user, we just need to display reference to the user, such as the order ID, the order cost, and the status, and the date as well. So let's display these things. I'm going to display the order ID, cost, status, and date. So here, remember, we have here order, we have product, date. We only have the product and date, and I don't want that. Instead, I'm going to say order ID, and I'm going to create another column and that is going to be for the order cost, and then th, and then what else? Order cost, order status, which is very important. Order status, and then date, order date. And we need to here create a loop. So here I'm gonna create instead of displaying this static code, I'm gonna remove this code or comment this code out, and instead I'm gonna create a loop here. I'm gonna say PHP, and here I'm gonna say while and then curly bracket, only open the curly bracket, and then orders, and then fetch a source, and then I'm gonna say here raw is equal to orders fetch a source, and then in between I'm gonna display this code. I'm gonna now uncomment this code. Let me uncomment this, and I'm gonna push it as well. Let me push it, and below we need to close the curly bracket. Here I'm gonna say PHP, and then I'm gonna close the curly bracket, and in between I'm gonna here say, instead of the image, we don't need this image, I'm gonna comment this image out, and instead I'm gonna display the order. Here I'm gonna display the order. I'm gonna say order ID, which is gonna be PHP raw echo raw order ID, order underscore ID. So this is for the TD, for this TD, and then we want to create another TD here, TD, and then this TD is going to be for the order ID for the order cost. So this TD is going to be for the order cost. I'm going to say span, and then PHP, and then echo, and then raw order cost, and then order status, and then order date. So I'm going to copy this, and then I'm going to paste it below, and then I'm going to say order status, and finally order date. Instead of this, I'm going to say order date. Let me save, and let's head on over to the browser to test. So now let me refresh here, and I should get all of the orders, and as you can see I will not get any orders. And as you can see I will not get any orders because I didn't make any orders. But let me intentionally change my user ID to 1, because I made user number 1 has made all of these IDs, and I have a user ID of 8. So I'm going to say 1. I'm going to change my ID here like this. Of course you shouldn't be doing this in a real system, because otherwise you will ruin your system. And by the way, I need to log out because the ID is stored in the session. So I'm going to log out, and then I'm going to log in one more time. I'm going to log in, and now I should get all of the orders. So as you can see, I'm going to get all of these orders. I'm going to get the order number 6, 7, 8, 5, 6, 7, 8, and they belong to me. The reason why I got these, because they belong to me. And let me fix the table a little. To fix the table, we just need to remove this class. Let me remove this class, and let me refresh. And it didn't fix it because I think we don't need all of this. we actually don't need all of this. I'm going to comment this out or delete this completely, and instead I'm going to be using a span, just like the other rows. So here I'm going to use a span instead. I'm going to say here span, and then I'm going to say order ID, and here order ID. So it should work now. So it's now better. Now it's better, and we just need to let me head on over to the orders. So in the CSS, let me quickly fix this. So in the style, in the orders, we have here the orders th in the nth child is on the right side, so we need to comment this out, and we need to, I think this is perfect. So this is perfect. Let me try to refresh and test. So this should fix it. As you can see, it has been fixed. The order date, I think the order date is here. The order here takes a line left. We need to comment this out. Just comment this out, and this should fix it. So as you can see, it has been fixed. So now we have all of the orders and all of the dates on the right side. And lastly, I'm going to display a button to take the user to a new page to display information about each order. Therefore, in the account here, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to add a new th here. I'm going to say th, and then I'm going to say order info, order details, and then I'm going to here create a td. I'm going to say td, and then here we just need to create a form. Let me create a form, and then I'm going to say input, and then I'm going to say a class button, btn button, and type submit, and value is details. Let me refresh, and we should have here order details. As you can see, order details, and it's clickable, so you can add here order details, btn. Let's use the order one of the classes that we had, so we can say btn, and then I think here we have the class, this class, but I don't want to use any other class that could ruin our design, so we can create quickly a in the CSS we can create a class. Here in the orders, I'm going to say that orders, and in the orders, this orders. So in this orders, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to say details dot order details button. The color is going to be white, and the background color is going to be orange. So now it should now display an awesome button. By the way, I forgot to add here the button. I'm going to say order details button, order hyphen details hyphen button. Let me now refresh one more time, and as you can see, we will have these buttons. Welcome back. Now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to take the user to the details of each of these of each of these orders. So for example, order number 5 will contain details such as the products that were purchased with this order. So there could be, for example, one to a number of products. So the minimum number of products that could belong to a specific order is one, of course, and then a customer could buy more than one, or could have bought more than one product in each single order. So if the user clicks on details, we need to take them to a page to display details about that order, which is details. What I mean by details is the products. So here in the orders table, as you can see, we have, for example, order number 5, which was created by user number 1. And if you go to the order items, we will find order number 5 has 2 products. So 2 products were bought in this order. So this order, in this order, there were 2 products bought with this order. So let's work on this. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to create a new page. I'm going to first close down all of these, and then I'm going to create a new page here. I'm going to say, I'm going to click here on this icon, and then I'm going to create a new page called order underscore details.php. And then I'm going to copy the code from the account. So I'm going to go to the account, and then what I'm going to copy is that I'm going to copy the head, this area all the way to this part, and then I'm going to paste it here, and then I'm going to copy the lower part, which consists of 3 tags, and then I'm going to paste it here in this new order details. And then I'm going to copy the navigation bar. So we have this navigation bar. Let me close it first. I'm going to close this navigation bar, and then I'm going to copy this navigation bar, and then I'm going to paste it here. I'm going to paste it here, and then I'm going to close it down as well. And let me add some space first. And then what we want, let me add enough space first. Here I'm going to add a big space. And let me close this. And the next thing that we want is the footer. So I'm going to get the footer from the account. So from the account here we have the footer, which is this part. I'm going to copy the footer as well. And then I'm going to paste the footer in the order details. I'm going to paste it here. And then I'm going to again close it down because we don't want to work on it. Let me here close everything. And that's it. Now we need to work on the order details area, this area. So in order to work on this area, we need to copy again a code from the account in order to not to create the code from scratch. So we have this code. Remember this orders. I'm going to close this orders, and then I'm going to copy it. I'm going to copy this orders, and then I'm going to paste it here in the order details. I'm going to paste it here. And we need to change many things. The first thing is that we need to display the order. We need to display instead of order. First I'm going to change this to order details. And then instead of displaying the order itself, we need to display the products that belong to that order. So to do this, we need to check the database. So in the database, what we can display is that we can display each single order has, of course, a product. We need to display the product ID. We actually don't need to display the product ID. We need to display the product name, the product image, and the product price, and possibly the quantity. And yes, the quantity is important. And that's it. So we need to display these things. We need to display the name, the image, the price, and the quantity. So I'm going to say here product name, and then product image, price, quantity. Product name, the image is going to be with the name, so there is no need for another column. So product name, and then image, price, quantity. Image, we have the image, then uh, price and quantity. And here I'm going to just say product, because this product column will contain the product as well as the image. So here what I'm going to do is that I'm going to say I'm going to uncomment this. Now we need this, and we don't need this. I'm going to remove this. We don't need this, and we don't need this either. I'm going to remove this, and for now I'm going to also remove this, and I'm going to keep only one. I'm going to just keep these two. So I'm going to remove the PHP code, and I'm going to remove this as well, and I'm going to remove also this PHP code. I'm going to remove it for now, but I'm going to get it later because we need to do the same. So I'm going to remove it for now just to show you the page. So let me head on over to the browser, and let me go to the order underscore order details. I'm going to go to the here. I'm going to say order underscore details dot php. So if I go to the order details, as you can see, I'm going to get this table, product price, quantity, and here it says details, and that's it. We need now to work on this, but before I do this, let me fix here. I have a problem. I need to increase actually the header part. I'm going to say here margin top 5, and let me refresh this. This should fix it. And instead of saying orders, I'm going to say order details. Order details. And we have here again the product price, quantity, and we can display something else, or we just can keep it just simple. Let's keep it like this for now, and then we can later fix this. So let me now work on the PHP side. So at the top here, what we want to do is that we want to get the details about that product. So to do this, the first step is that we need to include the connection to the server. I'm going to say include, and then I'm going to say server / connection.php, and then we need to pass the product ID from the account. So if user here in the orders, if user clicks on details, which is this form, we need to take the user to the order details.php. So here in the form we need to say method, and the method could be just get request. We don't have to use a post request for this, and the method and the action. So the action could be and should be order underscore details.php. And this button, we need to give this button a name. I'm going to give it a name. I'm going to say name is equal to order details underscore btn. And we need to pass the order. We need to say here input, and then type hidden, and then we need to say value, and the value is going to be equal to the order ID. Value, and the value is going to be equal to PHP, and then echo, and then we need to echo the raw, and we need to say here order ID. order underscore ID. And we need here to say name, and the name is going to be order underscore ID. So we have these two inputs now. Let me first check the account page. I'm going to go to the account.php, and as you can see, this is the button. This is the button. These are the buttons. Let me now go to the order details and work on this part. So in the order details, we need to say if, and then we need to check is set get order details btn, and is set get order ID. So if we have these two, what we need to do is that we need to connect to the database and get the details. So I'm going to say here connection. I'm going to first get the order ID. I'm going to say order ID is going to be equal to get, and then order underscore ID. And then we need to connect to the database. So I'm going to say con and then prepare, and then select all from order underscore items, where order underscore ID is equal to question mark. Now let me say here where, and then I'm going to store this in a variable called statement. I'm going to say here stmt is equal to this, and then we need to say here stmt and then bind param, and then we need to bind the order ID. We need to say here order ID, and we just need to execute. We need to say stmt execute, and lastly we need to say statement and then get result, and then we can store the result in a variable called order underscore details. So order details is going to be equal to this. Else, if we don't have these things, if the order details button or the order ID are not found, else I'm going to say here header, and then I'm going to take the user to the account page back. Location, I'm going to take the user back to the account page because there is no product. And then I'm going to say here exit. And here we need to create a loop. So here we need to say PHP and then while, and then open the bracket, just open it. And here I'm going to say raw is equal to order details fetch a source. And then at the bottom here we need to close this. We need to here we need to say actually below this here we need to close the PHP. We need to say PHP, and then we need to close the curly bracket. And in between we need to display the image. Remember, we need here to display the image, so I'm gonna remove this, and then I'm gonna say PHP and then echo raw, and then order image, I think product image. We have the product image. So in the database, if you check the database, you'll find that we have the column in the orders table, in the order items, not the orders, the order items. In the order items, we have the product image. So we can here say product underscore image. And we need also to display the product name here, PHP, and then echo raw product name. And then don't forget the semicolon, and here also don't forget the semicolon. Let me copy this line because I'm going to be using it a lot here. Actually, not a lot, a couple of times. Anyways, let me copy it and then let me paste it here. And here we need to say product. The third thing is the product price, and then lastly the product quantity, product quantity. And for security reasons, it's better to use a post request. In the account here, I said that we could use the get here. We could use the get, and that's fine. But if you want extra security, it's better to say post. So it's up to you. It's up to you. You can use the get or the post. Let's try the post first, and then you can go back to the get. The get is easier in terms of getting the data, but for extra protection, the post is better. And here it must be post. Let me now save and let's head on over to the browser and test. So now in the browser, the first thing that I'm going to do is that I'm going to log in. I'm going to go to my account. I'm going to say login.php and let me log in. So if I click on login, I will be taken to my account, and let's click on details of this product, of this order. And as you can see, I will get the details, and these products are correct because in the remember in the orders table, order number 5 has 2 products, white shoes and black bag, and that's correct, white shoes and black bag. Lastly, we need to delete these buttons. We don't need these buttons actually. So in the order details, I'm going to delete these 2 buttons. I'm going to delete this actually. I'm going to delete this completely, and I'm going to center here this table. I'm going to say MX auto. And let me refresh. And as you can see now, it looks amazing. We have the product, we have the price, and we have the quantity. And of course, you can display the $sign here. You can display the $sign just before the product. And now it's going to look amazing, and the user will be able to check any order details that they... Welcome back. Now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to display, instead of on hold, I'm going to say not paid. You can say on hold, or you can say not paid, or whatever you want to say. But it's very important to be descriptive, and you need to know these keywords, because these keywords will help you know the determine the status of your order. So I personally used to use on hold. You can use not paid. I think not paid is better. If you are going to display this to the user, and I think you are, then it's better to say not paid, because on hold the user might be confused. So here, whenever we create an order, let me remind you, if you go back to the place order, the default value as soon as the user creates an order, as soon as the user makes an order, the order status is on hold. You can use whatever keyword you want. You can use not paid, whatever key you want. Let's say not paid. Not paid. So by default, it's gonna be not paid, because the user by default is gonna place the order and then pay for the products. So let me change this to not paid, and let me keep it small letters, because if I compare, I don't want to do extra work. So here in the database, we also need to change the old values of the old orders that they have created. So the old orders here in the orders table, the orders that I have all already created. You can again use whatever keyword you want. Let's say not paid instead of on hold. Not paid. I'm gonna say not paid. And for example, suppose that this was paid. I'm gonna assume that this was paid. So if it's paid, I'm gonna say delivered. For example, it's delivered. Let's say delivered. For example, let's say that this was delivered. For the sake of testing, I'm gonna say that I'm gonna assume that this was delivered. So in the now, if I refresh, guess what? If I refresh, these orders are not paid except for this. This one was delivered. So what I'm gonna do now is that if the order was not paid, and if the user clicks on details, we need here to display a button that would allow the user to pay for that product so that we ship that product to or products to the user. So to do this, in the order details, we need to check that. And to do this, again, we need to go back to the account, and here in the account, we need to create a new input. We need to say input, and then we need to say type hidden, and then we need to say value, and then the value is gonna be PHP, and then echo, and then raw, and then we need to store the order status. Here I'm gonna say order status, and then I'm gonna close the PHP here. And then what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna say name is equal to order status. And then now in the order details, we need to receive that order status. So at the top, remember at the top here, we need to say order underscore status is equal to post, and then order underscore status. And now in the bottom, we need to display a button that's going to allow the user to pay if the order status is not paid. We need to display here in the details, we need to display a button that would allow the user to pay. So here I'm going to add if statement. I'm going to say here if. I'm going to create outside the table. Actually, it should be here. Outside the table, we need to use PHP, and then we need to check the order status. We need here to say if order status is equal to not paid, then we need to display a form. So I'm going to say here if, and then I'm going to close this. Let me show you what I'm going to do. So let me remove this line, and let me also remove this area, and then between I'm going to display PHP code. I'm going to here display PHP code, and then I'm going to close the curly bracket at the end. I'm going to close the if statement curly bracket. And here in between, only if the order status is not paid, then I'm going to here say form, and then inside that form I'm going to say input, type submit, and value pay now. And I'm going to also give it a style. I'm going to say here style is equal to float right. Let's also give it a class. I'm going to say class btn, and we can also say btn primary. Let me now save and let me show you how awesome this is. So let me go back to the account page. Now in the account page, if the order is not paid, and if I click on details, here there will be a button that says pay now, because the order is not paid yet, is not paid. The status is not paid. However, if the order is delivered, was already delivered, then in the details there is no button. There shouldn't be a button here because the order was delivered already. So now what you need to do is that you need to know the keywords that you are going to be using. So the keywords that I'm going to be using are not paid, delivered, or being shipped, or shipped. So the keywords, let me here create a comment. At the top here, I'm going to just add a comment to let you know the keywords that I'm going to be using. So the keywords that I'm going to be using are not paid, if the order obviously is if the order is not paid yet, delivered, if the order was delivered, and shipped if the order was shipped but not has not been delivered yet. So I'm going to be using these three keywords. You can also use paid in case you want to add extra a monitoring system, but I wouldn't recommend making the system too complicated. I think not paid and then shipped. As soon as the user pays, you need to check you need to change the status to shipped, and then delivered after you make sure that the order was delivered and the user uh, received the package.